rum distillery, where we are currently, downtown Baton Rouge. Here we make all of our single estate rums from my family's cane farm and sugar mill out at Alma,
Okay.
which you know so fondly.
I do. So your family owns Alma
Plantation, yes.
Fantastic. Okay.
In Point Coupee Parish. So I grew up there, raised on the farm. My dad runs the mill and everything, and I run the distillery. So yeah, I took over. I didn't always run the distillery. I took over in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long has the distillery been around?
It's been around since 2016. We first started distilling, opened the tasting room doors in 2017 under the name Caneland Distilling Company.
Okay.
And that was spearheaded by my cousin. And we had a great launch here in Baton Rouge, and then had to change names due to some trademark issues. And that was 2019. And then, of course, a year after that, we had some other challenges.
As did everybody.
Yes, exactly. So it's definitely been a whirlwind. Definitely a lot of growing, learning. This industry is definitely not for the faint of heart. It's tough.
Yeah.
So,
well, and it helps that you've got the supply.
We own the supply. Yeah.
That's a huge beneficial.
Yeah. We're never going to run out. We could probably supply the world's worth of Bacardi. You know, maybe not, probably not, but like pretty good chunk.
Wow.
Yeah. We're one of the top mills in the state.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize Alma was so large.
Yeah. And we weren't always. We were actually, the year I was born, we were the dead last mill in the state, 1990.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 18 mills then. And over the past couple centuries, you know, mills have just been closing more and more, and you're only going to see them continue to close, unfortunately. But in that time period, you've had closures, but we hung on, and everyone thought we would be the next mill to close. That's what my dad told me. And here we are, top 1, 2, always in the top 3 as far as output goes, or cane ground, tons of cane ground. So definitely a testament of perseverance and not giving up, and just keeping your head down and focusing on what you're doing, and you know, drown out the haters.
Prove them wrong, more like.
Yeah, exactly.
So then y'all in 16 decide, let's start distilling rum.
Yeah. It was an opportunity that a family member wanted to pursue, and you know, we have the source, and there were like the time period between 2010 and since, but especially the 2010s, you had so many craft distilleries open. Like the rate at which they were opening was astronomical. I mean, I think in 2009 or 2008, you know, you had like less than 500. And then now you have like almost 2,000, maybe more.
Holy smokes.
In the US. Yeah. And that's like craft, meaning below a certain production threshold, which is quite large. But
what is the production threshold?
I think it's like 200,000 proof gallons in a year, or maybe more, which is really big.
Yeah,
really big.
A lot of distilling.
Yeah, tons. I mean, that's yeah. So, but anyhow, it just seemed like the right time, a great opportunity. We own the source, and we're no one at that time had yet started producing a agricole style rum, which is rum made from cane juice.
How were they producing it?
Most rum in the world is made from molasses. Okay. And so but basically the only legally defining rule of rum in the US is that it has to be made from a sugarcane product. And sugarcane makes lots of products, depending on where in the process of making sugar you are. So it always starts with the cane, the plant.
Right.
It's a grass. And if you ever grew up as a kid chewing on sugarcane, then you have tasted sugarcane juice, and it's delicious.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah. And so that really was the opportunity, I think, that we saw in starting a rum brand, knowing we own the source, we have full control and can make that agricole style.
Right.
But then also we make molasses. So, because we make sugar, we make it all. And so that also has provided a very unique competitive advantage for the rest of our products, because we get to use the highest grade of molasses, whereas most rum in the world, truly all, I only know of one distillery that can use grade A molasses like we use. So that just means it's only been crystallized one time. It's really high sugar molasses. It tastes good. It's not bitter. It's healthy for fermentation. And so those are the two raw ingredients we are using, is the raw cane juice and the grade A molasses. And that is what our rums are made from.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so why is it that not everybody can use that same grade?
Because they don't have the access.
Okay. So it's access to supply.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Mills don't want to give up their grade A because there's still a lot more sugar in it to crystallize.
I got you.
So the mill's main goal is a raw sugar mill's goal, or end goal, is the raw sugar. And if you've only boiled it once to get grade A molasses and sugar, you can take that grade A molasses and they boil it 2 more times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to get your grade B and your grade C. Grade C molasses that is also known as blackstrap. And so that is the refuse of sugar mills. And it's typically sold as animal feed, at least for the mills in Louisiana. But the mills in Latin America, a lot of them sell it to rum distilleries. And so that's why most rum is made from it.
Gotcha. Okay. So y'all are getting the higher end side of the molasses.
From the very beginning, yeah. And that is, even though we're going through fermentation and distillation, your raw ingredient, what you're starting with, what it's made from, is so important.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I mean, and like, as you taste through our products, and this is our goal, you will taste the product that it's made from, whether it's cane juice or molasses. You will see the difference. And that's not typical of rum. Rum is typically quite neutral, or there's a ton of sugar or flavoring added. And that's, there's a time and a place for that. I have my False River brand is actually for the flavored rums. It's spiced rum, Caribbean style dark rum. I have the Oxbow estate rum line. Oxbow Rum Distillery, we make 2 lines of rum, 2 sub brands, and that's Oxbow estate rum and False River rum.
Okay.
Oxbow estate rum is additive free, sugar free, color free. Our False River line is our flavored rum line.
Gotcha.
And having a completely additive free rum is actually quite rare, unfortunately. The rum category, can be a lot of smoke and mirrors. It's unregulated. Not a lot of transparency is required. And so even though a rum doesn't look like it, or if it's not on the label, it can have sugars, coloring, stuff like that. And the age statements can be quite misleading sometimes. So,
gotcha. Okay. Well, I think that's a perfect segue into sampling some of them.
Yeah.
So you've got these flights that are available here in the tasting room.
Yes.
Walk us through where we should start, what to expect, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. So we're open Thursday to Sunday. You can book a tour online. A tour includes a tasting. We offer 7 products in total. The tour comes with a tasting of 4, but then we also have different categories of flights that you can choose from here in the tasting room. And so I always love to, if we're going to do the full lineup today.
I see that. We got all 7.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
And so we will, and if you come in, our lovely tasting room associates will do a full guided tasting with you, and walk you through all of it. So, but you get me today, unfortunately. But I haven't had too much to drink today, so it should be fine.
Perfect. So we should be all right.
I think we can make
through it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the agricole style.
Okay.
So the agricole style is the rum Louisiane. Can I grab it and like show it off? But to the okay. So the agricole style rum Louisiane. This is made from the cane juice, the raw cane juice. We cut it, crush it, pump the juice into a tanker out there at the mill, and we pitch our yeast out there.
Okay.
Because we have a distiller's permit out there.
That alone has to be an absolutely incredible benefit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just having the fact that you can say, we're going to start our process at the mill
the second we cut it. Yeah.
That's cool.
And juice, because with cane juice is so volatile. And the second it's exposed to air, it starts to break down and the flavor will change.
Okay.
And so you have to be close to the source in order to make an agricole style rum or rum from cane juice.
Okay.
And so we do it immediately. We pitch our yeast, and so we can control the flavor that we're going to get. And then we transport it here and into our tanks here. And then after about 2 to 3 days, we're ready to distill.
Okay.
And so this is a vintage spirit. We can only make it during harvest every fall.
Really?
Because it has to be all done when the cane is ready and when the juice is fresh.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And so 90 proof, but I promise it's very smooth. On the nose, you're going to get the smell of cane juice,
right?
The terroir, the earth, the soil. There's kind of a natural sweetness to it, but again, no sugar. So
no sugar in it at all. It's incredible. Ooh.
Yeah.
That is smooth. It's very smooth.
So my goal with this flavor profile was to bottle up and capture the memory of chewing on sugarcane as a kid. And I think I nailed it. I think my team nailed it.
They did.
Yeah.
They did, because I've got fond memories of really going to Big Ben in Bowles Parish and pulling off on the side of the road by the cane fields and cutting off sticks of cane with my grandfather. And then we would sit either in the back of the truck or in the truck and just chew on it as we would keep going down the road. And it was so much fun.
Yeah, totally.
Like, you hardly see that happening now. Not happening on this side of the river much at all.
No, I know. And like when people come in here and I'll lead a tour and I'll ask like, who's chewed on sugarcane before? So few people. It's so sad.
I'm like, what did you do as a kid?
I know. So I made the adult version. I bottled it up. Better for your teeth, more fun.
Absolutely. No, that is extremely smooth.
Yeah.
And very good. You definitely get a lot of the sugary flavor, but it's crazy that it's
not sweet, no sugar. So it's just water and rum.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's bright, it's grassy, vegetal. And it's cool because this style of rum can be made, you have cachaça in Brazil. That's a style of cane juice rum. You have aguardiente in Latin America. That's another style. And you can taste the terroir, or like the earth and climate where it came from. You can taste it all in each version, So a Martinique agricole style is going to, that they have volcanic soil and a salty sea breeze all the time. And you taste that in the rum compared to like our thick, rich Delta soil here with just like thick, humid air.
Yeah, you taste the humidity.
You taste it. Absolutely. I want you to.
Yeah. It's like when you get off the plane in like Baton Rouge and New Orleans.
Oh my God.
You put on the jacket of humidity.
Yeah.
And
totally.
here you taste the humidity.
I know, that's how I know I'm home. So if I'm traveling and missing home, all I gotta do is pour a glass of that.
Absolutely. That's very good. So that is, to my eyes, similar to, or at least in look, the small batch white rum.
Yeah.
But where
Both
do we go
unaged.
from here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to stay within our cane juice as the raw ingredient before we head into molasses world. So we're now going to go into the aged cane juice rum.
Okay.
So that's this one right here.
All right.
And that is 99 proof.
Okay.
So that's our highest proof that we offer right now. And
it doesn't smell higher proof on the nose.
People are very pleasantly surprised by how smooth it is.
Insane.
Yeah. So we age in new charred American white oak.
Okay.
Also rare for rum. Often you're going to see used oak.
Okay.
Rum aged in used oak. Rum ages quickly. It gets overpowered quite quickly. Also, if you're aging in a tropical climate, it ages more quickly. But if you age in a used barrel, you're not going to get this color. It's going to look very pale. And that's why rum brands often add coloring, caramel coloring, to their aged products.
To get it a darker look.
To make it look
so it appears
older.
like it's been aged.
Exactly.
Whereas y'all just let it happen naturally.
Yeah. We don't age as long, but I'm willing to sacrifice that age statement just for an all-natural, additive-free, beautiful color.
Yeah, it was very beautiful color.
Of rum. And on top of that, I don't necessarily want you to be... We worked so hard to grow this cane, crush it, harvest it. Like every person out there, plays an integral role in the whole ball of wax. And so there's so much hard work that's put into it before it even gets here. Mm-hmm. And then we also put in hard work. And so I don't want it to be aged in, at least for our standard offering.
Right.
I want you to just taste the rum and rest it in a barrel, not necessarily another spirit like bourbon, or because typically you're going to see rum aged in bourbon barrels because you can only use those once for bourbon.
Right.
So there's a plethora.
So how many times can you use the barrels for these?
For rum, it's lawless. So I can use it however many times I want.
Now, have you found over time the flavor profile changes the more you use that barrel?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not going to impart as much flavor. You can age longer once it's been used. And I'm not against aging in second use barrels. I think that's it. You can make some really interesting products that way, which we intend to do for limited releases and things like that. But as far as our standard everyday lineup, I like that it's the new oak. It appeals to whiskey drinkers too.
Very much so. Mm-hmm. It's almost got like a hint of spice in it too.
Yeah, that new white American oak. Mm-hmm. It'll definitely impart some spiciness.
But it's very good and very smooth.
Yeah. And with this one, that earthiness from the cane juice rum, if people are Scotch drinkers, I'll recommend this one to them.
Okay.
Higher proof. You got a little earthiness, like a kind of a dried straw note to it, but it's not like peaty like a Scotch. It's more subtle.
Yeah, it's definitely not peaty like a Scotch.
No.
But I can see how it would be recommended for those who enjoy Scotch, because you kind of get you're like a cousin of Scotch. Mm-hmm. You're not the exact thing, but you're close enough. Yeah.
So this one, I think it's just great on the rocks, but also it makes a really good sazerac.
I was about to say it would lend itself towards mixing, but not necessary.
Not necessary. Yeah.
This is good.
People think of rum as typically people will think of rum as a tropical beach drink, and it has to be mixed with lots of fruit juices, and
it's got to be overly sweet.
Yeah. And so we're really out here to change the world. The world's perception.
Right.
Or at least Americans' perception, because actually you go to Europe or the Caribbean and rum is highly revered, and people are more educated on rum. Yeah. And so, no small task, but we're out here doing it.
Yeah, I've got some my sister-in-law. Her family is very much like sipping rum drinkers. Like that's their spirit.
They're ahead of the
Is rum.
curve.
Oh yeah. So
Very
like
cultured.
that's what she grew up around. I mean, her family being from Nicaragua, like that was
Okay,
so big
let's
for
see.
them.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was like for their wedding, they didn't have like bourbon, like they had rum.
yeah,
Like your choice was to drink rum,
yeah,
and it was just fascinating to see, and also the different flavor profiles and what they were drinking for sipping rum versus what you're going by to throw in whatever drink you're trying to mix on the
yeah.
beach.
Totally. Like when people think of rum in America, there's like, and we shan't name names, but there's like 3 brands that people are going to be able
Right.
to name you.
Right.
Yeah. And so my goal is just that Oxbow and False River will one day be one of those names.
Yeah.
And but not in the same realm.
Right.
But they're like,
instead of going grab that bottle, they're going grab a bottle of Oxbow instead.
Yeah, or other, more premium rums that people can name more of them. So
right. Which is, you've got all that within your bourbon and your scotch and everything.
Yeah.
It's like rum is kind of starting to pull its weight a little bit and within the offerings. So it's
I
nice
hope
to see
so. I was just having this conversation today, and I've always said this, really what's holding it back is that lack of regulation, I think, in the US.
Okay.
Rum in the EU or Caribbean, like there are very strict rules on what you can call certain rums, the certain names, nomenclature, age statements and things like that. I think if we could get some laws changed and passed, then we could to make it more like bourbon or scotch, which if you go on the TTB, which is like the federal end all be all of what you can do in the alcohol industry, the definition of bourbon is like 8 pages long, and all the different names and protected categories, subcategories. And for rum, it's 3 sentences long.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are the what are the 3
It's
sentences?
like it has to be made from sugarcane, has to be distilled below 180 proof because 190 proof because 190 plus is vodka, no matter what it's made from. So I can make a sugarcane. We used to make a sugarcane vodka. And then I think that's pretty much it.
Wow.
But it's government speak, so it takes a lot more words to say it.
There are 3 sentences worth of content there.
Yeah.
But they're taking paragraphs to explain it.
Yeah. But
adding unnecessary words.
It has to be made from the sugarcane plant. So like there's cane juice, there's cane syrup, there's different grades of molasses, and then there's raw sugar. Those are all made from sugarcane, but they all have a very distinct and different flavor.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So, okay, that one was, I see why it takes people by surprise. Because I was not expecting it to taste the way it did, nor have the same flavor profile.
Thank you.
So it was very good.
Thank you.
So then you take them through those 2 steps, and then where do you send them next?
Okay. So next we're kind of following the process of making sugar. Like the first thing you're going to get is juice, and that's why I like to start with it. It's also more of a delicate flavor in the rum. And so now, though, we are going to travel into the molasses rums.
Okay.
And so we've moved further along in our sugar making process. We've boiled the juice. We've gotten the water off. Flavors have changed. But we have, if we're in the process of making sugar, we're in the vacuum pan where sugar is crystallized. And what you get out of that pan is a mixture of crystal in its own molasses that it was crystallized from.
Okay.
And then we separate that, and that sugar gets sold to the refinery, that A sugar, and that A molasses, typically in the sugar mills, it always goes to get boiled again and to get more sugar out of it, and to the B strike, and then so on and so forth into the C strike, etc. Because we own the sugar mill, we are going in after that A boiling, pulling the A molasses out and bringing it here to make our rums with.
Okay.
And that is even more rare, I would say, than the cane juice rum. I only know of one other distillery in the world that is using true raw A molasses. And they're in Barbados. And it's for their like estate series. And I asked the blender there if she knows of another distillery using it, and she does not. So pretty
what
cool.
You're saying is y'all are pretty unique here.
We're pretty cool.
We're pretty cool.
So what you get is just a molasses that is higher in sugar. It's less processed, so it's closer to the profile of the cane. Mm-hmm. You have less ash content, less sulfuric content, just a more natural product, and healthier product for fermentation and for making rum. And so what you end up with is just that fuller flavor in the rum, and rum that actually tastes like what it's made from. Most people do not realize that rum is made from molasses.
Okay. I mean, I guess I never gave it much thought. I assumed it was like sugarcane.
Yeah, sugarcane.
I guess that's where like it stopped for me.
Yeah, but that's more than a lot of people, actually. So, bravo.
I cheated. I had some other folks on in Gonzales that talk about the process.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, it just takes a lot of education. But go ahead and pick up your glass.
So which one though? So we got
now
the small batch white.
Small batch white. Okay. Yeah. And so this is unaged white rum.
Oh wow, that's very different.
Yeah,
very different.
So immediately, and again, no additives on any of these. Mm-hmm. So the flavor completely comes from the raw ingredient that it's made from.
Yeah, it smells like molasses.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I want you to taste what it's made from. I just think that's how it should be.
It goes down a whole lot quicker too.
Yeah. Not as slow as molasses.
It is not as slow as molasses, but even from the first two. Like I find it to be smoother than the first two.
Interesting, yeah. And I
totally
hear
wrong
both.
Here?
No.
Oh, you hear both. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not wrong because it's your tasting experience.
Right.
You know? No wrong answers.
I was about to say, I feel like for tastings, you end up with no wrong answers. And it's like, who's got the right?
Yeah, but then someone's like, ooh, no, that's not
that's not what you're supposed to taste.
Yeah. Actually, it's rubber hose and tennis balls. So, no. So, but yes, you taste molasses. And a little bit, there's kind of a smoky sweetness to it. A little bit of some, for me, you know, doesn't have to be for you,
right,
you know, tropical fruit, banana. And so not as neutral as most white rum, which is
right. It's definitely not neutral. It's definitely like a profile to it that has flavor. I get the hint of the smokiness, but you lost me on the banana.
Okay, fine. Totally fine. Any other?
No, it's just the molasses and the smoke and still a little earth, but it's like, it's fainting.
Yeah. A little different kind of earth.
Right.
Totally.
It's not nearly as heavy as the first.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. For me, it's heavier.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. But again, that's what I love about rum. Is so versatile. Mm-hmm. It's the most versatile spirit out there.
Okay.
I mean, obviously discounting flavored vodka. If you're just talking about the spirit itself. Yeah. Because it can be made from so many different steps in the. Are you picking that up? Because it can be made from so many steps in the sugar process. So, but anyway, that's what I love about also, you know, tasting people through all of our rums. Someone's gonna find something they like.
Right.
Because they're all so different.
They're all so different, and you have enough options there that people will inevitably find something they like, or they'll come to the conclusion you're like, you just don't like rum.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And I'll get people in here all the time that say, oh, I'm not a rum drinker. And first I'm like, oh, interesting place to visit.
Why are you here?
No, I encourage people to come here if they're not rum drinkers so that we can do this tasting with them and they can realize that they are in fact a rum drinker. They just haven't had good rum.
Right. It goes back to the education piece you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
If you don't know, one, what it's made out of, or two, the process in which the spirit is that you're drinking,
Yeah.
yeah, you may not like what they've done to it.
Right.
But again, they also have so many just generic options that they're choosing from when they're making it. Whereas you've got first pick of the litter when it comes to the front end of the product.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think just even if we didn't, there are great rums out there that make it from blackstrap, add sugar to the fermentation, and they're delicious because they're taking care in the process. But we do get a leg up. We're very fortunate, very privileged to have what we have and to have this access.
So when you had the family member decide they wanted to go into this business, did y'all have any history with it? Did y'all work with other distilleries beforehand? Like, not everybody just wakes up and says, you know what, we're going to make rum today.
We went in, they went into it. It took a very long time. It took, I guess 4 years to really get open, get up and running, from ideation. But there was originally a distiller that joined and, had some relationships in the spirits industry, but anyone joining this industry, if you're just like jumping into it, and you can get all the consultants or, distillers or whatever you want, but there's still going to be a learning curve.
Oh, of course.
And there's still, mistakes are going to be made. And it's just, there's growing pains, just like with any industry, but this one especially is very hard to break into. And what's more, you can't, it's not like it's not like, I don't know, deciding like we're going to start making hats. And I'm a, little milliner, and I like got my little hat studio, and I can start selling on Instagram, and boom, customer wants hat, purchases hat online, I ship hat to customer.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. There's a lot of regulation, a lot of rules. We have a 3-tier system. You have to go through a distributor. They have to then sell to a retailer or a bar or restaurant, and then it goes to the consumer. So it's a difficult business, and I think it's one of those things that you can only really, it takes time.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so we've been through a couple. We're on our 3rd brand name. But we're still here, and we're still going to keep going, because with each one, I guess you could kind of say like a different family member was at the helm for each brand. And so my iteration is Oxbow Rum Distillery, with the Oxbow line and False River line. And False River is an Oxbow, an old Oxbow lake, by the way, that our farm is located on. And so that's the meaning behind the names. I wanted to bring it back to the land. And I knew, the second name was Three Roll Estate, and that it was a nod to the mills that crush cane and that process. Making it my own, and knowing I wanted to be a national brand and conquer the rum world.
Of course.
I wanted a strong name, and a name that really spoke to me, and to bring it back to the land, and why we have the beautiful sugarcane that's out there growing out there, and the community, and the Oxbow Lake, False River. It's like so much a part of that community out there.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's been going great. People have, I was definitely nervous about a second name change, but I knew it needed to be done. We took the risk, and I'm really so glad that we did. It was so worth it. Oxbow is doing better than any prior brand has done, and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, and it's crazy just how much a name can impact a brand,
Totally.
especially a new brand. Right?
Yeah.
So like
and packaging.
In packaging and labeling and just imaging, it takes a lot to draw somebody in to say, "Ooh, I want to try that." Right now,
Yeah.
it's especially now when you're going through your spirit section of your store, you're looking and there's like 100 different options. And unless you know exactly what you're looking for, if you're just shopping, you're probably going to grab the one that looks the best, or
Yeah.
the one that looks the nicest, or
Yeah.
the one that just
Appealing. Uh-huh.
draws you in, and you look at it. Oh yeah, this sounds good. But unless you're going in on a mission and you're like, let's get ready for spring break at the beach, and you're going to grab whatever that low end bottle is,
Yeah.
you're then shopping. You're like, hey, now we got to figure out which one I want. What are the flavor profiles? And so it's like until you taste it, you don't know really what you're getting.
Yeah.
And then having a name that you look at it and it stands out in a bottle that's pretty and attractive. Okay, let's give this a shot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully within locally, you've got folks saying, "Oh, it was made here in Louisiana. Let's give that a run."
Yeah, and you have, things called neck hangers that you can hang on the bottle, and in-store tastings and things like that. Liquid to lips is important, as we call it. So
Liquid what?
liquid to lips.
Oh, liquid to lips. Okay.
Yeah, marketing lingo in our industry. So yeah, it's if you don't have but the label is the first step, right? And so it's like if you don't have that, then you're fighting against yourself, which is kind of how I felt about the last round of labeling with 3-Roll. It just wasn't, I felt like it wasn't doing us any favors. And I was really excited when we got to working on this design. It was fun.
Oh yeah, it's very very cool, and I love the the River Road addition to it, or the False River addition to it.
Yeah, thanks.
It's a nice little adding.
Yeah,
especially with the history written on the back of it.
Yeah,
that's cool too.
Definitely. But yeah, I digress.
Yes.
Where were we?
We were moving to the barrel aged straight rum.
Okay.
I think. I don't know.
You're right. You're right. Right. I've been keeping track. Okay. So now we did the unaged and aged cane juice rum.
Right.
We're doing our unaged and aged molasses rum.
Okay.
This is the barrel aged straight rum. And it has been aged in new charred American white oak for a minimum of 2 years.
Okay.
That's following similar rules to straight bourbon. So that's why I'm calling it a straight rum. We're actually the first rum distillery, I believe, to use that term since the 1930s.
Okay.
And yeah, and back then brands did it to try and appeal to the bourbon drinker then, and it's what I'm doing now.
Trying to appeal to the rum drinker.
Yeah.
And pull some of the bourbons to the other side.
Exactly. Yeah. So I do call this my bourbon drinker's convert. It's true. Like I'll get this staunchest bourbon drinker trying that, being like, oh, I don't drink rum. And I'm like, well, try this. And then they usually walk away with a bottle. So just saying, it is 95 proof, a great sipping rum, great in cocktails as well. Manhattans, old fashions, on the rocks.
Yeah.
If you're a cigar guy.
I could see on the rocks.
Yeah.
That pairing would go very well.
Totally. Rum and cigars. It's a tale as old as time.
I didn't know it was a tale as old as time.
Yeah. I mean, that's the original pairing, not cigars and
the bourbon or cigars and scotch.
Think about it. Cuba, rum.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Rum also was the first kind of spirit of America.
Okay.
Before bourbon was even invented, really, you had, and sadly, it was also because of the North Atlantic slave trade, but rum was part of that trade. And so you had a ton of rum being made and distilled in the U.S. And actually at George Washington's inauguration, he asked for 400 barrels of rum.
400 barrels?
For his celebration. Yeah.
Barrels?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how many people were there, but that's a lot of rum.
I hope a lot of people.
Yeah.
If not, clearly we have regressed drastically in the alcohol consumption.
Yeah. So, it has a longer history in America than bourbon does.
So I get like almost like vanilla
Yeah.
on the nose.
That is common with new American white oak. Um, a That's also, notes when you're sipping a bourbon.
Mhm.
People describe that note as well. It's strictly from the wood, no flavoring added. Um, I love that you also, sometimes people are like, "Oh, is this bourbon or whiskey?" But
I
it's
could see
rum
it's
at the end.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know it's rum at the end. It doesn't have like as much of a
yeah,
punch to it. This
hmm
is more just like a very hey,
yeah,
we're here, we're sweet,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I find it's not as sweet as some bourbons. Even some bourbons can be very sweet.
Yes.
Um, And then I find it somewhere in between a rye and a bourbon, this
Okay.
barrel aged straight rum.
Yes. I would
Mhm.
agree.
Yeah,
I would agree. It's like
great,
a good happy medium.
great.
I can also see how you can convert quite a few bourbon drinkers
Totally.
to having this.
Yeah, yeah. Just gotta get the liquid to lips, you know?
Mhm. That was very good. Very smooth. They're both like it's just like progressively smoother almost, I feel
Amazing. Well, you're also getting drunker, so
like.
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't sell you that short. I know you can handle it. Um, okay. So, we have
Plum, chocolate, and vanilla. See that? I didn't
it's okay.
I could get a little plum, but not the chocolate.
It's just suggestions. It's like guidelines.
You find people will sit there and they'll taste it a little bit and then they won't say anything and then they'll read it and go, definitely plum,
Yeah,
definitely
totally.
chocolate.
Stone fruit, is what I meant by the plum. But yeah, if that's we wanted to appear very posh with the tasting notes. So for the rum, so the rum nerds would take us seriously.
Right.
But yeah, it's just rum aged in oak. That's it.
And do you ever have people come in and say, no, there's none of that in this?
To each their own. I mean, I guess you're saying that.
Right, but I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't pick it
That's okay.
up.
It's okay. It's all subjective.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And thanks for pretending to like all of them.
No, I genuinely do like them. Let me be clear. I genuinely do like them.
I know you do because they're good.
They're
that's objectively true. It's a fact.
right. Right. I'm not here to contest that. We're here to continuously prove it.
Yes. And tell viewers like you
Right.
About it. So, okay. So now we're moving over into our False River line. We've got our flavored rum. Flavored rum is very common. And I didn't want to sell myself short by not making flavored rums.
Of course.
But I wanted to keep Oxbow, the Oxbow State rum additive free. And so I decided to make it a different sub brand.
Okay.
And that's very common. I mean, look at Buffalo Trace Distillery and how many brands they have.
No kidding.
So Oxbow Rum Distillery has 2.
I like it.
And so let's start with our dark rum, which is going to be on your far left.
Very dark rum.
Very dark rum. Dark rum does not necessarily mean aged, though people think that. But in our case, it is aged.
Okay.
It has been aged in bourbon barrels.
I see.
And that very dark color you can't get from a barrel. So if you see rum that dark, there has been coloring added to it.
Yeah.
They do not, it's not legally required to claim that as an additive if it's under a certain percentage. The percentage, by the way, is ridiculously high. No one would ever add that much. And so neither have we. However, even though I don't legally have to claim it, I have put it on the label. So even with our flavored rum line, we're about transparency. I have put the addition of caramel color on the label right there in front.
Yeah, with a hint of caramel for a rich Caribbean style dark rum.
Exactly. So you know what's in the bottle, you know what you're drinking. No additional sugars added.
Okay.
But you are gonna get that hint of caramel. It's gonna be a slightly sweeter, and great for a dark and stormy, or like floaters, or even on the rocks.
Right.
For those looking for that more traditional dark rum style.
Yes, very dark rum and very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if that's what you're used to, if that's what you want, we got it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's different. I can see how it's used more for mixing over rocks.
Uh-huh. Totally.
But still very good and definitely get the caramel in there.
Yeah.
So
Good.
I like it.
Great.
So walk me through how you came up with the False River piece.
Like the name?
Yeah, like what you got Oxbow, what drove you then to have False River?
So I think just knowing, well, the inspiration of Oxbow is False River.
Right.
Like the actual place out in Point Capee where I grew up. And I remember growing up going to the Oxbow restaurant and just like such fond memories there and the people that work there. And so I knew I wanted these two names to be related and to correlate to one another. And I landed on Oxbow Rum Distillery first. And then the folks that I was like doing the brand workshop with, we were like, okay, well, whatever we end up calling the spice rum, and I was like False River, for instance, and we were just using that as like what we thought was like a placeholder, but then we kept saying it. And it was like, should we just call it False River?
It became more of a placeholder and became the actual place.
Yes. And so, again, an homage to the land, Point Capee Parish, the community, kind of a love letter. It's like my love letter to Point Capee Parish.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's different enough, but it's also like a fun looking label.
Yeah. I wanted it.
Your Point Capee smack right on the front.
That's right. And which Point Capee is French for cutoff point. It's the point at which the river cut off from itself and created False River.
It's like it's all connected.
More you know. This could air on PBS.
I know. This is education.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and I wanted the False River line to be like a little more playful, spiced rum, partying on the pontoon kind of vibes.
Yeah. You roll up to the bar on False River and they've got this, all in the back wall.
Totally, they better. And then whereas like I really wanted Oxbow to be super elegant and classy.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you go to like the pre-party, you're getting the elegant stuff. Then after all the events are over, like, hey, let's go and have some pontoon fun.
Totally. Yeah. The after party.
Right.
Okay. So I saved the spiced rum for last because it has the most flavor added. And so once you taste that, you don't really taste much else. In a good way.
Why is that?
Just because, if you're tasting anything from wines or, I don't know, what else would one taste?
like your other spirits. Like your bourbons, your tequilas,
Anything. Yeah.
Right.
You're going to start with your lightest and then go to your most intensely flavored. So, and what we do with the spiced rum, we start with the small batch white.
Okay.
And then we infuse with bay leaf and whole vanilla bean.
Okay.
And we are like splitting open by hand Madagascar vanilla beans.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, my poor distiller developed a vanilla allergy from
opening all of the vanilla beans.
Yeah.
There's no like automated way to do that.
Maybe one day when we can afford a vanilla splitter. I don't know if that exists, but I'm sure it does. But for now, my distiller is allergic to vanilla, so he wears gloves now. Though it's fine.
That's good.
And so after we infuse for 3 days, then we blend with flavoring of baking spices, cinnamon, clove, and orange.
Okay.
We add a little bit of sugar to the spice rum, not much, not nearly as much as most other spice rums. We bottle it at 88 proof.
Whoa.
Which is higher than most spiced rums.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to taste the rum in there.
Right.
I don't want it to just be a sugar bomb, sugary syrup bomb.
So that's what you get hit with on the nose.
Yeah. A sugar syrup bomb?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I wasn't going for.
Well, it's just, it very much smells like very sugary to me.
Yeah. Well, especially after everything else.
Those, yes. Yeah, you were going from...
Yeah. Makes sense. But yeah, just go ahead and take a sip.
Okay. And this is the False River Spice rum.
Yeah, the small batch spice rum, the teal label.
Teal label, okay. Oh, wow. It's spiced.
Spicy.
It's very spicy.
Yeah. But not like pepper spicy.
No.
Yeah.
It's like a cinnamon spice almost.
Yeah.
But I never heard you say cinnamon in any of those descriptions.
I thought I did.
Did you?
Like baking spices, cinnamon.
Yeah. No, it's definitely there. Yeah.
The only whole infusion is the bay leaf and the vanilla. But yeah, so a lot of what I wanted to get out of this was complexity, a lot of layers.
Oh,
there's orange, there's vanilla, there's the spices.
Mm-hmm.
And not too sweet. So not overly sweet.
It's not as sweet as it smells.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. It's definitely on the nose again after the other ones comes in.
Yeah.
It's very sweet.
Totally.
It's very different and still good in its own way.
Yeah. This is actually our #1 seller.
I see why.
Yeah.
It's very easy to drink.
It's very easy. And it's 88 proof.
Right.
Yeah. So like people, it's kind of like, oh, it's like an RTD. Like, but no, it's...
No.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we'll put this on rocks in like a big tall styrofoam cup, and that'll be our mixed drink for the day.
Yeah. Well, spiced on ice all night is what that's called.
Spiced on ice all night.
Yeah. So this, I wanted to make a spiced rum that we would drink here at the distillery. That,
right.
Your rum aficionados, they turn their nose up at spice rum. So I wanted to make one that even they could not turn their nose up at.
And so have you like put those aficionados, self-proclaimed or not, like through a blind test and asked them which ones they like better?
I haven't gone that far. But it's not blind. But when I do taste aficionados on it, they're like, oh, I was not expecting that. I typically don't like spice rum. And they end up liking it. So
good.
Mm-hmm. And so that one is really great on the rocks, but also like lemonade, ginger beer, lime. It's good with coconut. It's good with pineapple. It's good with orange, so it's good in a toddy. It is amazing in an espresso martini. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll have to try.
Oh, yeah. If you really want to jazz up an espresso martini, which I think it needs to be, it's a great option.
I like it. I like it. But no, I definitely see how people could easily drink it.
Yeah. Great for the holidays.
On rocks and in your toddies.
Or eggnog. Really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Giving me all these ideas.
I know.
This is fantastic.
I know.
It's
only April.
Like a recipe book.
I know. I have one. Home bar guide. We have them here.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's like you have it.
It's like I thought about it. It's like I have to sell it.
You got to give them ideas. How do you consume this? Don't just drink it out the bottle. There's other ways to drink it.
And all joking aside, you do have to do that, especially with rum, because people are so hung up on it being like, so what do you make with it? Like rum punch? And that's all they got.
Right.
And so we do have to spoon feed.
You gotta give them the creativity.
Yes. There's so much you can do with this. So much more than like whatever you did on, that one night in high school and is the reason you don't like rum anymore.
Right. When you found it in the cabinet and it was like, half full, half empty.
Yeah.
And you're like, let's just drink this tonight. You know.
Yeah, no. Those kinds of nights, really make our job hard. But slowly but surely we're, you know, creating new rum memories
Right.
for people.
When people graduated from high school and college, they can now graduate their drinking experience.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. And then last but not least, we took that spiced rum, we put it in a barrel, a bourbon barrel, just to kind of ramp it up a notch
Of course,
because it was not ramped up enough.
you wanted to, add even more to it.
Yeah. And so basically it's stronger, 95 proof.
Okay.
And you have the bourbon barrel flavor.
Right.
And the bourbon barrel imparting flavor onto it. All the same infusions and flavoring. And so it's just, I think it's kind of like an old fashioned in a bottle.
I was literally about
You were going to go there?
I was going to go there.
Oh my God.
Like it's just like you're having an old fashioned, except you don't have to mix anything. You just pour it straight into a glass with on a rock or something.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Exactly.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we finished.
Great.
This.
Well, you
I'm
passed.
glad we ended
you
with this
passed
one.
the test.
Perfect. I'm like, this brings back memories of last night, old fashioned.
Yeah, but now you don't have to do anything. Just pour it on rocks.
Yeah, no, like this is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's literally like they sell the pre-made old fashions in a bottle, but you could really just go and buy
a
bottle of False River.
Well, and maybe I'll rebrand it as that. Who knows?
Just don't tell.
Well, no, like old barrel aged old fashioned. That's what it is.
There you go. Barrel aged old fashioned with rum.
A rum old fashioned.
There you go.
Yeah,
a rum old fashioned.
Well, because an old fashioned is just a recipe, right? Like it doesn't have to be bourbon. It's just spirit, bitter, sugar with an orange peel.
Yeah, and you've just done all that in a bottle. Mm-hmm. Literally.
Yeah.
Like that is good.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie, that's probably one of my favorites so far.
Amazing. Let's save the best for last.
I know, you really did.
Yeah, cool.
You just hit my palate where I like it.
Perfect. See, there's something for everyone here.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Not to say that any of them were less good. Like this was.
No, you were having a great time.
I'm drawn more towards it.
You were having a great time the whole time.
Of course.
Like, totally. So
when they come here, they get the tour. What are we showing them? What are you walking them through in the back?
So we walk you through the process from cane to glass. That is our slogan. Because we control the whole process from cane to glass. And we have some beautiful video footage up on the TVs in here of Alma and the whole process out there. We have a little patch of cane out here on the sidewalk. And when it's tall enough, we'll go and cut it for you. And we crush it through our little tabletop 3-roll mill.
So you're like straight up like doing the process here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, for the tour, and you can see cane get crushed. We ran out of cane, and that snow kind of ruined it all. But so we'll cut the cane, you crush it. Everyone gets to taste cane juice.
Perfect.
And they don't have to chew on it, which is nice.
Why don't you make them chew on it?
I don't know, like get sued for like making your gums bleed or something. No,
you just need a dentist to open across the street and you're fine.
I know, right? I always tell my dentist, like, oh my gosh, this is so symbiotic. Like, I keep you in business.
And you keep me in buess because everybody's like, we still have our teeth.
Yeah, you still keep me camera ready.
Right, of course.
So, and then after we crush the cane and everyone tastes the juice, and then we'll go around the back and we enter the back of the building through a roll gate, the same roll gate that our molasses and cane juice enters the building. We enter our fermentation room because after that's the raw ingredient enters the fermentation room, and it begins to ferment. We put it into the tanks with molasses. We dilute it down, and we ferment for 3 days. I have a map and visuals back there to show you, like, this is how you make sugar, and here's examples of our ingredients. And then we walk through fermentation room into the distillation room, which you see through these that this glass right here explained distillation. And then from the distillation room into the barrel room, which also doubles as the bottling room and packaging room and store room and
the one size fits all room,
the production offices.
Yeah.
And then you finish into the glass.
Finish in the glass.
Yeah.
Learning how it was made, and then I say, come taste what we've made.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a really fun time, and we're kid friendly too. You just pay for the tour. You don't get the tasting as part of the tour, obviously.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to give little kids part of the tasting.
No. We have sugar for the parents to take home. It's just our special thank you.
Of course.
Like, just take this for your kids.
They're gonna get a spoonful of sugar on the way out.
Yeah. And so, it's just a really fun time. We have a wonderful cocktail bar. We make we juice all fresh juice, make all of our own syrups from scratch. All of our frozens are completely natural, like no powder, no syrup. Like it starts with real fruit and we're making the syrup ourselves. So, and so you can come here just for the drinks at the bar, which are delicious. So, and we rotate our menu seasonally, using fresh herbs and fruit and juices.
Thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Lake Men's Health Center with Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group. Guys, I know it's tough to get out and go to the doctor. I know it's challenging to find time in our busy days, but I promise you, signing up to be a part of this group with Dr. Curtis Chastain and Dr. Tyler Boudreau, you won't regret it for several reasons, but most of those being the fact of the time it saves, where you're able to get in on the same day, get that appointment done, and spend that time you need to talk with them about what your health goals and concerns are, as well as ensuring that the financial investments you have, you will be able to live out and see those come to fruition. So if you're an investing guy, you know all about and planning for the future and investing in the future. There's no other more important thing to invest in than your health. Make sure you go check them out. Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group Men's Health Center, and tell them Patty G sent you.
So you can come here and you don't have to take a tour and do the tasting.
Right.
You can just come for the bar. It's all natural fruit juices, and we make our own homemade syrups. We have super premium, amazing frozens,
Fantastic.
no powder, no artificial.
Gotta have the frozen.
Gotta have the frozens all summer. And man, are they good. My bar team does a really good job.
So what I love about the seasonality of your drinks is that seasonal drink options, to me, speak to truth of what's available now.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not like, oh, we've got this cocktail that's available year round. It's like, hey, we're not using really fresh stuff because we know all the fruits are not grown all year long.
Yeah.
So it's like you're getting it when you can, and then you're changing it for what's available. Mm-hmm. That to me is cool.
Yeah. And we launch seasonal menu. Like we'll have our staples all year round, but we do a seasonal menu based on like what's in season, the fruit, but also thematically, we do a nice little holiday menu as well. So, there's always something new going on.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm excited to make this, now that I work downtown, like a spot where I just bring people for me. I'm host meetings here now.
Get ready. We got fast Wi-Fi.
Perfect.
Open till 8 for that
for a late night meeting, after work meeting.
And in the month of April, by the way, we are doing a promo for Autism Awareness Month.
Okay.
We're working with Leroy's Lemonade. We always have a frozen lemonade, virgin, on the frozen machine with their lemonade. And we partner with them. We make our special Tiger Smash as well with their lemonade. So we're the official rum of LSU Athletics.
Okay, I didn't know that.
We are.
Congrats, that's a big get.
Thank you very much. It's just really, it made so much sense. And, I grew up 20 miles from the stadium, like my dad bringing me to all the games. And on a clear day, if you're on the upper east deck, you can, like during the fall, you can see the steam from our sugar mill.
No way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's very meaningful, but also a great opportunity for marketing. And we came up with a special cocktail, the Tiger Smash. And it has our small batch white rum, and it's with a blackberry lemonade.
Love it.
Purple and yellow.
Of course.
Refreshing, delicious, easy. And so we do it with Leroy's Lemonade at the stadium when we can. We do it here. And so for Autism Awareness Month in April, for every Leroy's Lemonade or Leroy's Lemonade cocktail that we sell, we're going to donate $2 to their nonprofit.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's absolutely huge.
Yeah. Well, we're part of the community. We wouldn't be anything without it. So it's important to give back.
I love that. Well, before we get you out of here, we have a set list of questions we ask every guest on the show. So the first one is, what is something you did as a kid you wish you could still do today?
Chew on sugarcane.
I knew.
Without
I knew it.
cracking a
I
tooth.
knew it. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. As soon as you were as soon as I asked, I was like, it's gonna be sugar. It's gonna be something related to chewing on sugarcane.
I try sometimes, but I'm like,
Yeah, if you feel it back there of years and years of chewing on sugarcane.
Right? Yeah, I'll go with that.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all have been through a lot over 9 years, almost 10, by the way, starting in 2016. Like, that's incredible. You almost made it a decade through everything. What are like 3 lessons you've learned along the way?
Only 3.
Pick the top 3.
Okay, well, this is fresh on my mind. I just said it today to someone, and through it, I've learned, like, through the past several years, I always thought that there could be or would be, like, whether it was a company or investor or moment or person or employee, whatever, like a savior, that could come in and just turn it all around. It couldn't be me. It had to be someone else, someone with more experience, someone that knew better, some entity. But what I've learned is that there is no singular savior, so to speak, that it's just about, and this kind of segues into another lesson, is persevere and don't give up and keep putting one foot in front of the other. And as terrible as something seems one day, in the moment, you're going to look back on it and be thankful for it and realize, like, you wouldn't be where you are if it hadn't have been for that.
Yeah.
Struggle and challenge. And I would say the third lesson is, this one sounds mean.
Okay, just hit us with it.
Hire slow, fire fast.
Yes.
That's
not me.
I learned that one the hard way. And it's not necessarily true all the time. And it's not necessarily true for everyone. But sometimes and I don't necessarily believe in the latter always. I believe in giving second chances and coaching people and trying to maximize their strength. But I think it's just a corporate saying, but the value in it and the lessons I've learned in it are, take your time, make sure you trust people. And on the flip side, if you have someone valuable, then treat them well and hang on to them.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you growing up in the other side of the river, but now being here in Baton Rouge, normally we ask, what do you love about Baton Rouge?
Yeah.
But I'll extend it beyond Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge area.
The Baton Rouge area. So what do you love about being here?
I moved away. I went to school in Baton Rouge. I live out in Point Capee on the farm, but and I left to go to boarding school when I was 16, and I didn't move back and live back home until when COVID hit, and I took this over. And so I think it's just about being home. Like, I love being home. I didn't think I would. I spent my life trying to get away.
Right.
And so what I love about it is there's no place like it. And, and I love just being back tapped into my roots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So for the final question, what can I do to help you? I mean, I'm already taking home a couple bottles of this right here.
Well, make these bottles all your gifts. Blast us on the air. But I feel like you've been very helpful in our off-air conversations, and your input and your ideas. Those have been really awesome and valuable. And you're helping me by inviting me on this show. Thank you.
Of course.
I appreciate it.
I love what y'all are doing here, and the fact that you're like farm to table, but you're cane to mouth.
Cane to glass.
Cane to glass. I'm sorry. I skipped the glass to lips step. I went all the way to lips.
Cane to mouth. We should have trademarked that instead.
Well, cane to lips, right? Because you're
lips.
through the glass process.
Yeah.
It's all the way to consumption.
Right? You're right. We didn't just pour it in the glass and then leave it.
Right. It's like
people are drinking it.
Correct. You're the full cycle.
Yes.
Here, which is what I love. Within 20 miles of Baton Rouge, you're doing everything that you need. And the fact that you're doing something that one other person on the planet is doing with one of your products is phenomenal.
With the grade A molasses.
With the grade A molasses
that I'm aware
phenomenal.
of. If there's more,
don't hate. That the both of y'all are aware of.
Yeah.
We're just going to claim it. And hopefully somebody sends you a letter and says that they're doing it too.
Yeah.
But you know what? Great.
Yeah.
Until then.
Exactly. And that product, the small batch white rum, among the others, won at San Francisco World Spirits Competition, won best of class for all white rum in the world.
Oh my gosh.
So the best white rum in the world, according to, of over 200 rums entered in that competition from around the world, according to hundreds of judges, is
Oxbow.
being made right here in Baton Rouge.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's why we do this show. That's
amazing.
That right there is why I do what I do. To showcase what's happening here, the transformational stuff that's happening, and just the delicious goodness that's being distilled right here on both sides of the river, because you start on the other side.
Yeah, it's grown over there. Over here, we finished the job. So
I love it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your family's journey. And you've got a customer for life now. I appreciate it.
Amazing. Spread the word.
We will do
That's
that.
how you can help me.
So thank you everybody else for tuning in, whatever platform you're consuming us on. Please make sure to stop by and get a bottle of Oxbow or False River, whatever suits your fancy. Go back, rewind, rewatch, and figure out which tasting matches with you, or come down here and taste it for yourself. Tell them that the Patty G Show sent you, and we will be back here next week with another episode. We'll see you then.